It really is coming down to a lot of the farming inputs around your your proteins and your dairy, and also in terms of the grains and cereals. You know, we work with a lot of farms, and we are seeing pressures at a farm level that's absolutely transferring through to ingredient supply. So when you talk about what are the supply chain issues that QSRs are facing, it's absolutely their input costs and being able to have a dynamic supply chain that allows them to source ingredients where it makes sense to either maintain a menu pricing or at least pass on costs through to a menu that exists. At a farming level, a lot of farmers are being impacted by the drought, and it doesn't necessarily mean always that the price is going up. It might also mean that there is no supply to be had as well. So as supply limits or not at all, so what has to happen is supply chain has to switch. Potentially that means importing those particular ingredients, or it might mean completely changing a menu item altogether. So I think one of the jobs that we have as suppliers is to really educate what's happening down at a grassroots level to the QSRs around these sort of inputs, so then they can stay ahead of that, because we have visibility, 6 to 12 months out mostly on a lot of these commodities across the board, and that's where I think we need to do a better job at sharing that with the QSR industry. I feel like they don't potentially lean on suppliers enough for information, for innovation, for collaboration. We've found that the larger QSRs are a lot more open to discussions around all of the issues that the supply chain are facing, innovation, menu design, things like that. Whereas the smaller QSRs, and maybe because they've got a lot more on their plate, they're probably wearing a whole lot more hats. But I think the one thing, to break away out of a small QSR store count into a large store count is to really work with your suppliers and say, okay, well, these are my goals, these are my ambitions for my chain. How do I get you on board as a supplier, and where's the value that you can add to help me get to that next level? Because we are much more than just moving boxes or supplying ingredients into the distributors. The distributors do a great job at getting products from A to B, but where suppliers can really add value is education around how to prepare or cook the products properly, in terms of menu innovation, in terms of portion controls, in terms of speed of kitchen preparation. These are things that we see day in, day out, and we can transfer those learnings from even bigger customers down to smaller customers. It can be challenging, it can be cumbersome to introduce new innovation, but you need to have this constant flow of innovation, and that's because the costs and the inputs into operating a QSR is dynamic as well. It goes up and down. So if you have a static menu and your menu doesn't change, it's really hard to maintain those costs. So one of the ways you can offset that is by introducing, or at least having, a pipeline of menu innovation offerings that allows you to continually increase your margin.